Good morning, guys. Welcome to this Monday, November 17th. And we got about a week until Thanksgiving, right? Next week. Time is flying. Thanksgiving is upon us almost. This is the full training week. Next week after this is going to be Thanksgiving. So it's going to be a short week. And then we are in December. And then we got Christmas. So if you're freaking out, it's a good idea to just take a deep breath. Things are coming. Holidays are right upon us. People are putting up Christmas decorations already. It's like before even Thanksgiving. I don't know what to say about that, but it's coming. Now, yesterday or Friday we had a pretty good retracement. That overnight from Friday was terrible, awful, and then the day session was a massive retracement straight back up again. And right now the overnight has pretty much been meandering, pretty much around where we had the day session or the bulk of the day session from Friday, and also from Thursday. There was this area right here at that 6770. Looks to me, it looks to be an attractor area. It's still below the 6800. I've not been able to clear that one, but that big rundown we had and this came out of nowhere. Remember, we had the shutdown ended, we had this little strength going on, then we had this massive rundown, and then complete reversal right back up again. So there is some rotation and some stuff going on there, but hasn't been direction in the sense that they have taken out the 6650s and started probing below that yet, at least. Doesn't mean they can't, but at this right now, I would just start following this together again and like so, and then watching it. Okay, so today we have a fair amount of volume here in this area right now between the 6740s up to that 6880s. We are right now at the lower end of the range. It looks like the better attractor area right now is a little bit below that, 6760s. And this area, the 6800, is still the main area you need to get up above it. So as soon as you get up above it, you have a shot at potentially taking this higher. But as you can see, all this volume here is starting to form a distribution. So at this point, I'm going to start off range bound. Watch really carefully this lower edge. 67.45 right now. 67.30 up to 67.45. These two areas of support. If they come out, we are back on the short side. If they take out the resistance areas here at the 67 or 6800 and 6805, I would be on the long side of this. So I'm just watching it to see if they can run it higher. Now, on the long side of this, I would probably be that a little bit of a caution since we have this big area. The good news is you get past that 6805, you clear this reverse resistance area, and yet this can get into an area where you can start taking this higher. But you still have this, I would say, an area congestion before you can really get back up and start challenging the highs. But we are we are not that far away from the highs right now, so it's not like we have a massive sell-off on our hands, but it's been pretty good rotation down here the last few days. So starting off, I would say range bound right now. I'm watching these areas and then see if it's going to try to take this lower, if they're going to try to take this higher, if it's just going to meander around here throughout the day session. The news is going to start coming back out again. We have for today, we have Empire State at 8:30, construction spending at 10. That was a delayed report. That coming out at 10 today, so that's what we got. Tuesday, we get a bunch of news, industrial, import-export prices, industrial production, housing market, factory orders coming tomorrow. Wednesday, we're getting international trade, housing permits, oil report, 20-year auction. And Thursday, we're actually getting an employment situation on Thursday. The delayed report for employment situation. Probably not going to be a full report, but that's coming on Thursday. And then Friday, we got some consumer sentiment stuff coming out. So we're going to start getting some financial data But right now it looks to me like after the London sessions kicked in here around about the 6800s, they start being slowly as grinding this to the downside, and we are right here down at that 67.45 right now. Watch these two lower support areas. Both of them comes out. I would be on the short side of this, looking for move to the downside. Looking for rotations lower, but it's never really good in the overnight when it starts to start looking like this. I would still look to buy against these lower support areas, just not as aggressively. So I'm shifting my bias from range bound to short side below that 67.30s. They could be already below 67.45, so you want to be aggressive about it, but that's kind of the way it looks to me. But you can see here, I mean, there's been a steady net selling going on here since that 3 a.m. London open. Now, and on the way up, as I said, on the way higher, if they reverse right now, it's not the main concern. Above that 6800 level, 6805, I would look for rotations higher, see if you can take out these areas and maybe get it back into these upper levels. But again, so leaning long above 6805, leaning short against 67 below 6730s. In between, I'm going to be range bound. Watching that 45 area, you can be more aggressive. If you want to be more aggressive, you can already start leaning short below that one because it very much feels pretty weak right now. Looking at oil and gold, no oil and gold. Looking at Nasdaq and the bonds, the bond market not giving us a lot of hints. There'll be a couple of big days of moving going on here, especially on Friday when they ran right up here and then completely reversed. That was a weird one. They ran up here in the overnight and completely reversed in the day session. Now we kind of back up a little bit on that one, but it's still 117 is kind of in the middle of the range still. Not much direction to move on the bonds. So I don't think whatever's going on in the stock market, it's not a flight to safety by any means. It feels like that for a day or two, but it's just a churning a rotation into a different stocks is what I would think it is. Right now, you can see the bond market is tightening up its range here between the 116 and 117, 117.20. But again, below that 116, start leaning short on the bonds. Above the 119, start leaning long. In between that's range bound trading. So for the day session, I would just look to buy weakness right now, 1616, 1610. Looking to sell strength against the 1626s, 17s, 1706s for rotations back down. Just a few levels up, few levels down. If they start moving outside of that, we may have a directional move to deal with. So pretty straightforward on the bonds, but range bound, primarily range bound on that guy. A bit of movement going on the way down there. Nasdaq also can be started. Has been absolutely coming apart since that London Open. You can see they were pretty good retracement there, right back here to that lower end, the 25,060s. That was the support area from Friday, which held up pretty good after the reverse the overnight. Now the overnight is starting to look pretty gnarly again. But they were up here all the way up to 25,360, testing that volume edge in the overnight before they completely fell apart and then dropped 300 points. So there's been a net selling going on here, and let's see how far they're going to take it. But I would look to sell strength, or I would look to buy weakness down here to 25,060s and down to 25,000. Below 25,000, I'm on the short side of this again. And on the way up, looking to get short on these areas of resistance up here. Well, the areas are the 130s, 200s, 260s, 300s, up to that 360. I would not be super aggressive on the short side until I get up to this upper area. So looking at the 260s, 300, 360 for potential short opportunities. Now above the 360s, I'm starting to lean on the long side and see how far I can take it on the upside. A fairly tight range. So the below the 360s, above that 25,000 are going to be range bound. Right now, the overnight has been nothing but, the slow grind up here to the London Open and then complete disaster on the way down. And let's see how far that the weakness is going to hold. So anyone's guess, but it's a range bound day. We're going to start getting news reports, and we have the shutdown behind us. We have a lot of things behind us, so just waiting with that for that Santa rally to begin, right? A little bit of a Santa excitement going on. Finally, oil and gold. So range bound ES, range bound Nasdaq to get started. Let's see what direction they want to go in here. Given it because overnight has gone from the low to the high back to the low again, and just had to give it some room here to see where they want to go. Oil is just going sideways to around about $60, so it's I would just trade as a range bound market. They're gonna roll. I think today is the last day on oil. I believe. Was it today or was it? I had to check. Maybe I'll try to roll one here before we wrap up here and see if I'm on the right side of this. But it's going to roll after today's trading for sure into the January expiration. But right now, oil is pretty much range bound. It's trading in this range. Not much going on with it. Building value, going back and forth. And I would just say range bound trading on oil at this point. So they're going to sell strength against the 60.25s, 60.60s, up to the 61s. Looking to buy weakness, 59.80s, 59.40s, 59s for rotations back up. Maybe down to the 58.50s as well, but 60s here, but reasonably tight range on oil. It would be great. We had one of those days not too long ago where it really took it, had a nice trending day, but so far those are few and far between. Otherwise, it's just kind of usually sloppy. So, and gold. So range bound oil, gold. I would be a range bound as well, but I would, let me see where the capital. I may start on with the bias to the downside on that guy. Gold. Because they are right here between levels, right? So they are the 4130 attractor area. They've been going back and forth, swinging wildly, as you can see. This range has been nothing but crazy. But they were halfway down here towards that 4,000 level. They're kind of in between the 4130 and the 44,000. So I would start maybe with a slight bias to the downside and see if you can get some continuation to the downside. If not, I would just go back a range bound. But I think they're either going to rotate back to the 4130s or we're going to see them down here at the 4,000. So hard to say which side, but look for this upper edge 4100, 4110. If that comes out, start leaning towards the long side. And below it, look for 4050 and the 4040s. If that both of them comes out, look for rotation down to that 4,000. So in the meantime, I would probably start off range bound. I would probably favor the short side to get started, since that was the direction from Friday, and then see if they can take it lower. So I would prefer to sell strength against the against 4,095s, 4110s up to that 4120s, rotations down. And if these two areas, the 4110 and 4118 comes out, we're going to be right back here in the 4130. So already above that 4110, I would probably shift my bias to the long side and see how far I want to take it. So that's gold. Starting off with a slight bias to the downside, at least for now. And then let's see if they can take it lower. They just go back range bound. All right, so that's gold to get started. So that's oil and gold. So both of them are range bound. I would say bias to the downside on gold to get started. So let's see here if I try to roll, not that guy. No, I want that guy. I got a couple of new screens coming in so I can get my stuff organized a bit. So take oil, MCL, right click, symbol, see if you can roll it. No, it rolls after today. So after today's trading, we're going to roll it. So it's still front mount. All right. So after today, we're going to be rolling to the February to the January expiration for oil. All right. So that's how we get started. Back to the ES, and weakness is still there down here, testing the lower end of support. So let's see if they're going to try to run that or not. But we'll leave it there for now. So it's range bound ES and Nasdaq. Watch these outer edges and see which side they're going to take this on. If I would be guessing, I would probably expect them to try to run the lower end of the range first, since they are there. See how far this weakness is going to last, but it could turn pretty quickly as well. So we'll leave it there, guys. So good trading, and I'll see you back at 11:30 for the next update. Good trading, guys. Later.